Hi guys, so here Anwari here, co-founder of Sublime Trading, here with your daily update on the UK and US indices for Monday, the 6th of April. Okay guys, hope you're well, hope you had an excellent weekend really, given the circumstances that we're in. If you're new to these daily updates, then I recommend starting with the recording that's pinned to the top of our Facebook group to get an understanding of what I go through in these daily updates. Okay, so let's have a catch up with how we ended last week and potentially what we could see today and even through to the rest of this week. So let's start with the FTSE 100. Now, this is our three-screen setup. We have the monthly in the top left, weekly in the top right, and the daily chart here at the bottom. If we start with the monthly time frame of the FTSE 100, we know that in recent months we've had significant bearishness, particularly in the month of March. However, price in the month of March failed to break and close below the low of February 16. We can see that we had movement to the downside. The bulls came in, pushed price back up. So far in April, we can see that price is struggling to gain any momentum through this level. We can see the bears have attempted, the bulls are now coming in, pushing price back up. So we really need to see where price closes in terms of this support level, potentially a resistance level in the days and weeks ahead, before we really get a clear direction on this. This could act as support and we could see strength back to the upside, or if it's broken, then we could potentially see further weakness. If we move across to the weekly time frame, price is below the 200 moving average and the 50 simple moving average. You can see weakness currently going through a pullback, finding an element of resistance. And we can see that in more detail on the daily. Price is below the 200 moving average, the 50 moving average, and the 20 simple moving average. You can see how the 20 simple moving average is acting as an area of resistance. And also this horizontal black line going across the chart is the low of February 2016. I've also marked that on the daily time frame. So you can see that price is trading around that level. Ultimately, if we see a break of this high, then we could see further strength. Or if we see a break of this low and that 5,000 round number, then we could see weakness. At the moment, really, the market is going through a bit of a lull, and we need price to wake up and dictate a direction. Okay, let's move into the US indices, starting with the Dow Jones. On the monthly, we can see that price in the month of March closed above the low of December 2018. So far in April, price is trading below that level. So potentially we could see further weakness back towards this support level, which is the high of May 2015. We've also got the 20,000 round number as well for price to deal with. On the weekly time frame, price is below the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average. Again, going through a bit of a pullback. We saw weakness last week, so we now need to see whether price will dictate further weakness or strength. If we see strength, the 200 moving average is the next resistance. If we see weakness below the low of March, then we could see further. If break and close below the low of March, we could see further weakness. And we can see that on the daily time frame as well. Price is below all three moving averages. Again, the 20 simple moving average acting as resistance. We need to see a break and a close below this support to suggest further weakness, or we could see strength back to the 200 moving average. The S&P 500 has a very similar structure. We can see, however, price is trading just above the low of last year. So this red line is the low of 2019. This is acting as support. So we need to see these support levels ahead cleared if we are to see further weakness, or if this holds strong, then we could see a bounce back up to the all-time high. On the weekly time frame, the 200 moving average is still acting as resistance. We can see weakness last week, but that means very little. It's this low that we want to see cleared to really suggest weakness, or if the 200 moving average is broken, then we could see strength. And on the daily, similar to the Dow Jones, we can see the 20 simple moving average acting as resistance. Currently, again, going through a lull. If we see support levels cleared, particularly the low of March, then we could see further weakness, or we could see strength back to the 200 moving average. If we look at the Nasdaq also is trading inside the annual levels of last year, not quite near the low of last year, which is where the Dow Jones and the S&P are trading. This is halfway really between the high and the low of last year. However, if we look at price, we had a gap down, so we could potentially see further weakness. We now need price to dictate really which direction it wants to go in. Price could find support. We could see further strength. If we look at the weekly, price is above the 200 moving average. Unlike the Dow Jones and the S&P, the Nasdaq's actually above the 200 moving average, although currently finding resistance at the 50 simple moving average. And if we come down to the daily time frame, price is below all three moving averages. You can see price is currently finding resistance at the 20 simple moving average. Very similar setup. If we see a break and a close below the low of March, we could see further weakness. If price moves towards the 200 moving average and then starts gaining strength back to the all-time high, then expect the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 to follow. Let's have a look at the S&P 500 mini to get an idea of pre-market action. This will give us a potential indication of what could happen going forward throughout the rest of today. But remember, it's always the end of day candlestick that really holds the most strength, because the institutional money tends to come in towards the end of the day. If you look at the monthly, we can see price is finding support at the low of last year. If you look at April's candlestick, March's candlestick closed above it. April's candlestick is currently finding support at the low of last year. So we could potentially see strength, or this could be a temporary bull revival before further weakness. On the weekly, price is just below the 200 moving average. We can see strength so far this week, being Monday. And on the daily time frame, we can see today's candlestick taking price through the 200 moving average. So a bullish start to the week, but as already mentioned, we need to see how the day ends to really get a better idea of potentially what could happen throughout the rest of the week. Ultimately, if we see a break and a close above this high, then we could see strength back to the 200 moving average. If we start seeing support levels broken, particularly the low of March, then we could see further weakness. For now, we'll be standing aside until we get a clear trend direction. And remember, while the stock market is deciding on a direction, we focus on currencies and commodities. So it's essential to look at the other asset classes, so you're not limited to just what's going on in the stock market. So this could take a while before the market comes alive, but other opportunities. Remember, when money leaves the stock market, where does it go? Commodities and currencies should definitely be on your watch list. Okay, so that's me for today, guys. Please like, comment, and share this video with others who you feel would benefit from this analysis, and I will see you on tomorrow's recording.